Good day, my little robins. It's me, Beth. Another week has passed, which means you get another video from, well, me. And if you haven't already read the title, I'm back bringing you guys another writing / fanfiction video because these are semi-popular on my channel and it seems to be a real hot topic. And I just love, making videos that you guys request. Anyway, like I said, if you haven't already read the title, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I write realistic characters / OCs in my fanfictions. Now this is a very important, subject I think a lot of people, need to get their heads around. Yes, you get some fanfictions that you read and you see an OC and immediately you think they're bland, they're boring, I don't know anything about this character, I just don't relate and I'm not going to read the story anymore. But I'm going to share with you guys how I go about creating my characters, and I use the questions / hot seat approach. And what I mean by this is I ask all my main characters a set of questions, they give me the answers, I write those answers down, and it just helps me, figure out how these characters are going to interact in the story, how they're going to interact with other characters. I do this for all my main characters, like I just said. I'll occasionally do it for side characters if, it comes to that people like them and they want to have, more screen time. And occasionally I will do it for my antagonists, but hey ho, yeah. Before we begin this video, if you want to support me and the channel, you can by clicking like to show me some love. You can click subscribe because, well, nothing's stopping you and I upload weekly. You can tap that bell to be notified when I upload on this channel. But if you're just interested in the questions that I ask my characters, then keep on watching. Now I've categorised these questions into, well, 5 categories. And I'm just going to be blunt, these are not all the questions that I ask. I have been known to ask more questions than these, but for the premise of keeping this video, short and sweet, I am only going to be, telling you guys the questions I ask, which I think are the most important. And we will start off with the basic questions that every author must answer about their character. I've got them written down in my little notebook because I am classy like that and I need to start using all the notebooks that I've bought. Anyway, the basic questions you should ask your character as an author is their full name, their age, place of birth, parents, siblings, jobs, friends / enemies, and education. These will all pretty much shape the basics of your character. It's pretty self-explanatory, hence the basic title I gave this category. Moving on to something that I think is equally important as the basics, and that is appearance. An appearance can, shape the way a reader views your character, it shapes the way they read the story. Please don't make bland, one-dimensional characters. Give your character some sort of interesting appearance. And the questions, these are just some of the questions I ask. It is the eye colour, the hair colour / style, their voice, are they right or left-handed, do they have any tattoos, scars or piercings, what do you notice first, clothing style and physical build. Simple. I feel like this video is pretty self-explanatory, but there'll be some people who will be like, huh. Moving on. The next category is called Outlook, and this is your character's outlook on life and the world around them, and these are just some of the questions that I ask. What is their outlook on life? Do they like themselves? How are they viewed by others? Are they lying about something? And how would people describe them in one word? I'm just going to be blunt and put it out there. I use these questions for my original and my OC characters in fanfiction, but when I'm writing fanfiction and I'm writing about real characters, I do like to put some of these questions to, the real people. For example, in my fanfiction called Ghost, which was All Time Low, Bring Me the Horizon, Of Mice of Men, and Pierce the Veil, and it was supernatural fantasy, I put these questions to the characters that, you know, were the supernatural beings to the hunters, and I found out some interesting things that I didn't expect to find out about those characters. So yeah, I think outlook is very important. The second to last category I'm calling characteristics. I love my hand motion. And some of the questions I ask are: strongest / weakest traits, do they have self-control, what are their fears, what are their talents, and do they have self-discipline? These I think are important, like when you're trying to get into like the nitty-gritty of your character, because, you know, although you might never ever touch on some of these subjects in your characters, like you might never tell another character, oh, this is what I'm scared of, but if you know, as you know, the author, what they're scared of, if the character is put in a situation, although everyone else around them might not know their fear, it kind of shapes the way that they will interact with the situations you as an author throw them in. And trust me, this is valuable information you need to know about any character you're writing about. And the final category of questions I'm calling in-depth. I actually didn't know what to call this set of questions. It's just the final set of questions, and they include ways to annoy you, ways to cheer you up, what is your greatest success, your biggest trauma, what do you care most about in the world, what's the worst thing you've done to someone and why. And that's pretty much, you know, some basic in-depth questions, because you'll find out then if your character's a bit of a jerk, if your character's a nice person, you know, are the audience going to, you know, love the character, or are they immediately going to be like, I hate this character with a burning passion, burn it with fire. Yeah. Like I stated at the start of the video, these are not all the questions I ask. You know, I have, I would say, over 50 questions that I can sometimes, you know, ask characters, and I will either ask all 50 questions, or if I know bits and pieces already about my characters, I will, you know, pick and choose questions that I think, you know, are suitable for the story I'm writing, you know, and the characters that I want to create in that moment. Now, this method isn't for everyone, but for me, as a creative writing student, a creative writing graduate, might I add, characters were one of like the first lessons that we ever were taught, and I didn't realise just how in-depth, you know, you should get as an author, you know, into creating a character. I just assumed, oh, you give a character a name, an age, you give them the basics, and bish bash bosh, you have a really good character. That's not the case. And I found that out the hard way when I was writing characters in my early days. So yeah, I use this method because it is how I was taught on my university course. So I'm sharing with you guys, you know, a little tidbit about how I learned how to write. I might also just save you $9 a year if you don't really fancy, you know, all those tuition fees and loans. God, don't talk to me about student loans. I don't even want to know how much debt I'm in right now. In the comments below, you know, I'd love to hear, you know, how you guys, you know, create your original characters. Do you follow the question method? What questions would you ask your own characters? And they can be as oddball and out there, you know, as you want, because the comments is, you know, the place to go to start a conversation. You know, while you're down there, you can check out all the links to my social media, because why the hell not? You can click like to show me some love. You can click my face right here to subscribe to the channel, because I upload weekly. You can check out my last 2 videos or playlists right here, depending on what mood I'm in when I'm editing this. Until next time, I am Beth. Keep writing. Goodbye.